On the southern half of a peninsula in East Asia sits a country that has lived through one of the most astonishing transformations in all of human history: South Korea. Home to around 52 million people, it rose in just a few decades from the ruins of a terrible war and crushing poverty to become one of the richest, most advanced, and most culturally influential nations on the entire planet. This is the land of K-pop and Samsung, of ancient palaces and neon megacities. This is South Korea seen from above. Welcome to Aerial Atlas. South Korea covers around 100,000 square kilometers, occupying the southern part of the Korean peninsula. It is a strikingly mountainous country. Roughly 70% of the land is hills and mountains, forcing its huge population into the valleys and coastal plains. The sea surrounds it on three sides, with the Yellow Sea to the west and the open ocean to the east. To the south lies the volcanic resort island of Jeju, and through the heart of the capital flows the mighty Han River. But you cannot understand South Korea without its painful division. After the Second World War, the peninsula was split in two, and in 1950 came the devastating Korean War. It ended 3 years later not with a peace treaty, but with an armistice, a ceasefire that technically still holds today. The two Koreas remain separated by the DMZ, the most heavily fortified border on Earth. A tense, silent strip of land that has, strangely, become an accidental haven for wildlife. What South Korea did next astonished the world. In the 1950s, it was one of the poorest nations on the planet. But through fierce determination, education, and industry, it transformed itself in a single generation. A feat so remarkable it is known as the miracle on the Han River. Giant family-run conglomerates, the Keballs, with names like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG, grew into global titans, turning a war-torn country into a powerhouse of technology, shipbuilding, and manufacturing. And the beating heart of it all is Seoul. This vast, electric megacity is home with its surrounding area to roughly half the entire country's population. It is one of the most connected, high-tech places on Earth, with lightning-fast internet and dazzling neon nightlife. Yet between its glass skyscrapers and the fashionable districts like Gangnam sit serene, centuries-old royal palaces, such as the magnificent Gyeongbokgung, the old and the new, side by side. In recent years, South Korea has conquered the world in a completely different way, through culture. The Korean wave, or Hallyu, has swept the planet. K-pop groups like BTS and Blackpink command devoted global fan bases of millions. Korean dramas are watched everywhere, and Korean cinema made history when Parasite became the first non-English film ever to win the Oscar for Best Picture. For its size, no country wields more cultural soft power right now. Yet beneath the modern surface lies a deep and ancient heritage. For 5 centuries, Korea was ruled by the Joseon dynasty, whose Confucian values still shape society today. Its grand palaces and graceful Hanok villages remain. And in the 1400s, the visionary King Sejong gave his people Hangul, the Korean alphabet, a writing system so logical and easy to learn that scholars often praise it as one of the most brilliant ever invented. Korean food is bold, fiery, and deeply communal. At its center is kimchi, the spicy fermented cabbage served at virtually every single meal, a true national treasure. There is the smoky theater of Korean barbecue, grilled right at your table, the colorful mixed rice bowl by bibimbap, endless little side dishes called banchan, and bubbling, spicy stews. Washed down with soju, Korean dining is loud, social, and gloriously shared. Korean culture is a fascinating blend of old and new. There is the elegant traditional dress, the hanbok, worn on special occasions, the four sharply distinct seasons, from spring cherry blossoms to fiery autumn leaves, and the beloved Jjimjilbang, vast public bathhouses where Koreans go to relax for hours. It is also a society famous for its intensity, its incredible work ethic, and an educational culture that is among the most demanding anywhere in the world. Away from the cities, South Korea is surprisingly beautiful and wild. Steep, forested mountains like Seoraksan are dotted with ancient Buddhist temples and crisscrossed by hiking trails that Koreans adore. And off the southern coast lies Jeju Island, a volcanic paradise crowned by the peak of Hallasan, famous for its beaches, its lava tubes, and the legendary Hineo, the tough, free-diving women who have harvested the sea by hand for generations. Modern South Korea is a global leader in almost everything technological. It is a giant of semiconductors, smartphones, and gaming, where competitive esports fill stadiums and K-beauty sets trends worldwide. But this hyper-modern, hyper-competitive society also faces real challenges, including today, the lowest birth rate of any country on Earth, a quiet crisis hidden beneath all the dazzling success. And then there is football, which Koreans follow with roaring passion. The national team, the Taejuk Warriors, wrote one of the great underdog stories in World Cup history when, as co-hosts in 2002, they stormed all the way to the semi-finals, the whole nation turning the streets red. Today they are led by the superstar Son Heung-min, one of the finest forwards in the world. For 2026, the Reds march on once again. A peninsula nation of ancient palaces and neon cities, of kimchi and K-pop, that rose from the ashes of war to astonish the entire world. That was South Korea from above. If you enjoyed the journey, subscribe. Here on Aerial Atlas, we fly over a new country every day.